What's going on? This is King Mo, and you have reached the King's Corner. And I'm just gonna rant about tonight's fights because that Madison Square Garden card was amazing. It was one for the books. It was probably one of the best nights I've ever experienced as far as combat sports is concerned. Man, I was entertained from start to finish. And let's start off with the first fight. Imam Khatev versus David Morrell. It was a controversial classic. I thought that Khatev won. First of all, people weren't even discussing this fight. This fight was on nobody's radar. Everyone was talking about the other three fights. But this fight was a banger, and it was a good fight, but the scorecards frustrated me. I had Khatev winning 7 rounds of 3. I mean, he landed the knockdown. He landed the harder shots. He threw more, landed more. He walked Morrell down. He hurt him. This wasn't a case of just outworking Morrell, but he was landing cleaner shots. He did more damage. Now, Morrell had his moments, He looked comfortable under pressure, but the pace and body work and the timing all added up, and I felt like it did enough to garner Khatev the victory. Somehow the judges gave the card to Morrell, which is a head scratcher. I was getting text messages from people, and a lot of people felt like Khatev won. So, with that being said, both men showed big nuts, grit, determination. I think that Khatev should have won the fight because the 6th round, I think it was the 5th or 6th round, the knockdown happened, and that should have sealed the deal. Morrell showed he had the skills and the ability to do something, but I felt like he didn't do enough. And I don't feel like he won 7 rounds, not at all. But Khatev's the real deal. He took some big shots. He stayed calm under pressure. Has a good chin. He has heavy hands. He has great timing, and he has elite fundamentals. I mean, he outboxed and outbrawled a guy that many people would call the future of the division. And, people were labeling him the next big thing, which, don't get me wrong, Morrell is, but tonight wasn't his night, and he might have got a little gift, but, the fight was really close. Morrell still landed, he showed his speed, showed his slickness, but he didn't look like the killer he was. Maybe it was that Benavidez fight, because Benavidez fight, when you fight Benavidez, it can take a lot out of you. And, I think it was a bad decision, but I think Khatev did enough to garner the win. But, I hope they run it back. If they do, I still think it's a toss-up because I can see Morrell making the right adjustments. But who knows? What do you think? Do you think that Khatev got robbed? Was it closer than it seemed? What were your scorecards? Drop them down below. And let's go to the second fight. The second fight was Puello versus Matias. Alberto Puello versus Sabril Matias. And this fight was a war. It was a fucking war. I mean, back and forth action, round after round. Matias came forward all night, just applying constant pressure, non-stop. There were moments that he wouldn't throw. He was just walking forward like a mummy and just stalking his opponent, stalking his prey. Meanwhile, Puello showed like some great composure because, he was sliding back, backing up, throwing like sharp counters, timing him, trying to throw in between Matias' shots, and he was using the clinch to smother Matias when he could and when he needed to. Granted, I was worried he'd lose a point because he did clinch a lot. It was excessive clinching at some points, at some times in the fight. But he did what he had to do, and that's what he had to do. Rounds 9 through 12, I thought that Puello looked cleaner, crisper. He landed the better shots. He landed the more effective shots. He closed strong. But, regardless, either way, the decision went to Matias. And honestly, I cannot argue. Matias went out there and he fought for that decision. He fought for that win. And these two fighters are some killers, man. I would love to watch the fight again because they came with it. And man, that was the second fight. And it was a great fight. Now, Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda was a fight that I was the biggest on. This is a fight that I was the most hyped for. Pure offense versus pure defense. Actually not pure, but pure offense versus elite defense and elite counter punching, counter offense. And man, Zepeda brought that chaos. He brought that non-stop volume. He was like a damn Tasmanian devil out there throwing hooks, uppercuts, jabs, stabbing the body. And yeah, man, it was crazy, man. He easily has one of the highest outputs in boxing today, and he showed the volume. He threw consistently and relentlessly, and he made Shakur work. He actually stunned Shakur. He rocked him in the second round, but Shakur showed that he's on a different level. He was slick, calculated, untouched. He made Zepeda miss a lot. Zepeda threw 200 more punches. Hear me out. He threw 200 more punches than Shakur. And Shakur still landed more punches than he did. His punches were cleaner and more efficient. I think halfway through the fight, the fight slowed down just a little bit, but the action never stopped because they were still going back and forth. Zepeda wouldn't stop throwing punches, and Shakur was sitting on the ropes trying to counterpunch him using the shoulder roll defense. And it was effective, but not effective enough. But man, as the fights went on, you see Zepeda start out strong, and then you see Shakur finish out like a vet. But at the same time, it was back and forth because there's some times that obviously Zepeda come out, and Shakur would kind of stop him in his tracks and back him up, and then do his work in the center of the ring, and then back up to the ropes, and he put himself in harm's way at times, but he just stayed composed and got the job done. Yeah. Shakur proved that he's still elite. He's like he's top of the chain, and Zepeda did as well. Zepeda and Shakur are tough as hell. This is my fight of the year so far. I mean, man, they showed skills, they showed heart, they showed will, they showed everything. I love this fight. This fight was kind of reminiscent of James Toney versus Iran Barkley and Mayweather versus Gotti, because Shakur landed about 50% of his punches. I mean, that's amazing, man. That's high levels. That's supreme accuracy. And that was my fight of the night. And let's head to the main event. Hamza Sheeraz versus Edgar Berlanga. This one ended with a statement. Sheeraz knocked him out in the 5th, dropped him twice in the 4th. I favored Sheeraz going in because he's rangier. I feel like he's a little more disciplined with his style, and he utilizes his tools better. Now, Berlanga's tough, man. He showed his toughness when he fought Canelo. He showed his heart when he fought Canelo. He could punch. But you know what? At this level, you need more than big nuts in a punch to shine. And Sheeraz dismantled him. It was a clinical finish, and the finish was brutal. It was nasty. It was a good finish, man. I don't think that. I think that the finish was needed because Berlanga was talking all that shit to him and kind of disrespecting him in the media leading up to the fight, and payback's a bitch. With that being said, my final thoughts, man, this card destroyed the Times Square card. Really, I think y'all remember Romero vs. Garcia, that card? Yeah, it destroyed that card. There's no comparison, man. This is what boxing needed. Hell, this is what combat sports needed. High level matchups, competitive fights, different styles clashing. This was what was needed, and this is what put the energy or the enthusiasm back into combat sports or boxing. This is what we needed. And this was the boost of energy that, you know, or the jolt of electricity that it was needed. And that's all I gotta say. If you like what you heard, leave a comment below. Subscribe, share, comment, critique. I don't give a damn. You know, I'm gonna be doing this here more often. So hey, I'm gonna fuck up, but hopefully I get better. Good night, y'all. And this was the King's Corner. I'm out. Y'all, you've reached King Mo. I mean, this is King Mo, and this was the King's Corner.